Democratic Senator Tim Kaine.
Hey,
good
Chuck.
morning to you, Senator.
Good to be with you.
Well, you seem to be reluctantly supportive of this deal. Am I reading that right? When you first put out a release about it, you didn't even say whether you were going to support it or not. Where are you this morning?
Oh.
And is it fair to call you reluctant?
No, actually, I'm strongly supportive of the deal. There are things in the deal I wish weren't there, that they weren't in the Senate budget. The issue with military retirees and federal employees, they weren't in the Senate budget. So I wish they weren't there. But we needed a deal, and I think this is very important for the economy. I give praise to Patty Murray and Paul Ryan for helping us get there. I'm a budget conferee, as you know. And, Chuck, the fact that it's a two-year deal is an important thing. You know, most states do two-year budgets. The federal government, for some reason, does one-year budgets. It's better to do two-year budgets because you give the private sector and all your agencies more time to plan, and that is a better way to go about it. So I think it's good. It's going to be good for the economy, and I'm optimistic that we'll get this thing done, and then put shutdowns, furloughs, sequesters, at least for the next 2 years. We'll put all that behind us.
It's funny you bring up two-year budgeting. This is actually a pet issue, I know, of a bipartisan group of senators.
Yes.
I know Roy Blunt has been a big proponent of it. I think Johnny Isakson, Saxby Chambliss down in Georgia, they've been proponents of this. But it's the appropriators, it's the people that spend the money, not the folks that budget the money, who are against this. Is there a way to create sort of staggered two-year budgeting where half of the government is funded one year, half the other year? You still have appropriations going every year, but you budget it in two-year increments? Yeah,
no, I think you could definitely do that. You know, whether that would be the best course or not, you could certainly do it that way. You could do a budget every 2 years, setting the top line numbers and then dividing into the key functional areas of government some allocations, but let appropriators write the appropriations bills 1 year at a time. That could work fine. But what you get with two-year budgeting is you get, intense effort to craft the budget, and then in the middle you do all your analysis and oversight, and our revenues coming in where we thought, our programs costing what we thought they would, and it enables you to really do some of the kind of investigation and analysis so that when you're writing the next budget, it's a lot more precise of a document. And so I applaud the fact that Patty and Paul said, look, let's tackle this and do the 2 years, because you do give the private sector economy and agencies more planning space by giving them that 2-year certainty.
Something that's not in there that some Democrats are upset with, and some progressives on the left, is the extension of unemployment insurance.
Biggest weakness. Yeah, that's the biggest weakness.
And Senator Reid has said it's not coming up this year. He said he'll tackle it again at the start of the year. But let me ask you this. When do you stop the extended unemployment insurance? You know, the law, it's normally 26 weeks. We've had this special extension up to 70 plus weeks. When do you make that decision? It's always hard to say no. I know this. When do you say, you know what, the economy is starting to recover and the government is going to scale back?
I think, Chuck, we should probably. I wrote a letter saying we ought to extend that UI more, because I think the unemployment rate is still too high, and the real unemployment rate, if you take the current rate and then you add to it workers who've been out of the workforce for so long because they're discouraged, the real rate is higher still. I'd set a rate threshold, and once we got there, I would let it expire at that point. I think it would be good for people, and actually also good for the economy, to do that UI extension. But I know that was the House's argument about why not to do it, and that's the biggest weakness.
What is the rate?
Of the deal.
What would you set it at? Is it 6%, 6.5?
I'd probably set it at around 6 for the unemployment rate as measured now, but then I'd also look at the disaffected workers and probably do some calculation on that, and I haven't done that one in my mind to give you a number today.
Senator Tim Kaine, Democrat from Virginia, on the budget conference. Thank you, sir.
You bet.
Trivia time. It was South Carolina.